Dona nobis pacem, pacem. Dona nobis pacem. Dona nobis pacem, pacem.
Good morning. My name is Pat Callahan, and I am one of the trustees of the Springfield, Vermont Unitarian Universalist Church. For over 200 years, we have been preaching love in the free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We envision a better and kinder world, and we welcome all who wish to join us in fulfilling that vision. Please enjoy this special Mother's Day Sunday celebration.
Thank you, Sharon. Welcome, everybody, to our Sunday morning service. This week, we are honoring mothers in our lives and mothers in the world, and we're also singing for peace. This service came about when I suggested to the choir that we sing some special songs for peace a couple of months ago. I'm a firm believer in what we put out into the world becomes our reality. So when the world gets rambunctious, I always like to turn to singing for peace. And the choir got excited and got on board, and we chose some songs. And then Mellon suggested that we do this on Mother's Day because of the Mother's Day proclamation, which is very much about peace. And so the service came together as a way to honor our mothers and as a way to sing in hope for peace. So I'm hoping that this leaves us all with a feeling of being held by Mother Earth and having peace for everyone on the planet. Our opening song is How Can I Keep From Singing? I hope that you will sing along with us and stay muted and just join the virtual choir. Here we are.
My life goes on in endless song about first lamentation. I hear the rhythm of far-off hymn that is the new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds an echoing my soul. How can I keep from singing? Although the tempest round me roars, I know the truth will live. Although the darkness round me flows, sounds in the night to give. No song can shake my inmost song, while to that rock I'm clinging. Since love prevails in heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? When tyrants tremble as they hear the bells of freedom ringing, friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? To the birds that sound of vulture wild, our thoughts to them are ringing. When friends by shame are undefiled, how can I keep from singing?
When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water and the great moon feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. Wendell Berry.
Thank you, Tina. It's beautiful. I have a story for all ages that is based on a Burmese folktale, and it is called How the Birds Became Friends. How the Birds Became Friends, based on a Burmese folktale, retold by Noah Baum. How the Birds Became Friends. Long ago, when the world was very young, the birds did not get along. They were always fighting about who was better. If Peacock met Robin, he'd shout, "Out of the way! I'm better than you!" Robin would jab back, "I am much better than you." And they would charge at each other, beaks pecking, feathers flying, squawks and screeches everywhere. Owl magpie, pigeon, and starling, swallow, woodpecker, blue jay, and parakeet, sparrow, crow, goose, and falcon, each screeching louder than the others. They were always fighting. Beaks pecking, feathers flying, squawks and screeches everywhere. The world was a very noisy place. I'm better than you. Here, I'm better than you. Waka walk. Ah, come on. Zagla, Pakapoo, Kachoo. I am better than you. But one shy little bird, Quail, was tired of all the beaks pecking, feathers flying, squawks and screeches everywhere. She wanted to stop the fighting, but how? One day, Crow landed near Quail's tree and taunted, I'm a much better bird than you are. Quail was shy, but clever. Yes, you're a much better bird than I, she said. Crow was so surprised her beak stayed wide open. Rah! She croaked. Oh, no. You are a better bird than I. Thank you, said Quail with a quiver. And your black feathers are so shiny and pretty. What? No, your feathers are shiny and pretty. So there. Thank you, said Quail. Would you like to stay and talk? What? Crow had no idea what to say. No one had ever asked her to stay or talk before. She looked up and down and all around. She finally squawked, why not? So they spent the next day telling stories and playing together. As the sun went down, Quail asked, would you like to stay and share my tree? There is enough room for both of us. Why not? Cawed Crow with delight. Quail and Crow began sharing the tree. When Crow flew out to find food, Quail watched over their tree, and Crow would bring back something good for Quail to eat. The following day, Crow would guard the tree, and Quail would bring tasty morsels for Crow. Meanwhile, all the other birds noticed that Crow and Quail were sharing a tree, but there were no beaks pecking, no feathers flying, no squawks and screeches everywhere. Why is it so quiet? Screeched Peacock. This is unacceptable bird behavior, wailed Woodpecker. I can make them fight, shrieked Magpie. Just watch. The birds watched as Magpie flew close to Crow and Quail's tree. Quail was away, and Magpie taunted, Hey, Crow, how come you live with that ugly, can't even fly high Quail? Crow frowned. You must not say that. Quail is lovely and kind. I'm honored to share the tree with her. We're friends. You're what? Friends. That was a word no one in the world had ever heard before. Magpie was surprised, but he told the other birds, Don't worry, just a little hiccup. I'll make them fight in no time at all. The following day, Magpie tried again. This time Crow was away, and Magpie called out, Hey, Quail, how come you live with that ugly, can't even sing Crow? Quail glared. You must not say that. Crow is lovely and kind. I'm honored to share this tree with her. We're friends. What? Friends, said Quail in her loudest voice, and you must not say hurtful words about my friend or anyone. Magpie was speechless. All the other birds were speechless. For the first time in the history of the world, it became very quiet. So quiet that the birds could actually hear the leaves rustling in the breeze, the hum of bees, and the crickets chirping. It was so new and so beautiful that no one dared make a sound. Finally, Owl hooted softly, Ooh. Why couldn't we be like quail and crow? Peacock spread his feathers wide. It is rather pleasant and quiet without fighting. Perhaps we should try to be, what was that word? Friends, chirped Magpie. That day, friendship began among the birds. That day, respect and peace came into the world. All because one little bird was brave enough to be kind. Imagine, even one small act can change the world. The end. And to honor and recognize that one small act can change the world, we're going to share with you John Lennon's Imagine.
Mother's Day Proclamation. Arise then, women of this day. Arise, all women who have hearts, whether your baptism be that of water or of fears. Say firmly, we will not have great questions decided by irrelevant questions or agencies. Our husbands shall not come to us reeking with carnage for caresses and applause. Our sons shall not be taken from us to unlearn all that we have been able to teach them of charity, mercy, and patience. We women of one country will be too tender of those of another country to allow our sons to be trained to injure theirs. From the bosom of the devastated earth, a voice goes up with our own. It says, disarm, disarm. The sword of murder is not the balance of justice. Blood does not wipe out dishonor, nor violence indicate possession. As men have often forsaken the plow and the anvil at the summons of war, let women now leave all that may be left of home for a great and earnest day of counsel. Let them meet first as women to bewail and commemorate the dead. Let them then solemnly take counsel with each other as the means whereby the great human family can live in peace. And each bearing after her own time the sacred impress, not of Caesar, but of God. Julia Ward Howe. And now we will have a chant that honors ancient mothers with figures of ancient mothers.
Ancient mother, I hear you calling. Ancient mother, I hear your song. Ancient mother, I hear your laughter. Ancient mother, I taste your tears. Ancient mother, I hear you calling. Ancient
Well, we wanted to introduce you all to some ancient mother goddesses. All of these wonderful goddesses were goddesses of motherhood or goddesses of fertility, protectors of childbirth. Uh, Only one of them that I know of was also a hunter. So I believe this goes along with Sharon's proclamation that, as a general rule, mothers, while we may be protective of our children, are try to be peaceful. I'm not going to say we always are, but we try. And so we have come to a part of our service where I was hoping that we could honor our mother figures who are in our lives and introduce mother figures if we want to maybe go into gallery view. But for a second, don't go yet, because what I'll do is I will share a couple of mother figures from my life to begin. And I'm going to bring up a picture because I don't have it with me, but we have this wonderful technology of screen share. And here we have my mother. This is Judith. This is the Judith that you always see down in the Zoom with this a little black box, and it says J.K. Cairns, and this is my mother. And I wanted to introduce you to her. She is a lovely woman who has been so influential in my life. I have learned so much from my mom. And during the past couple of years of the pandemic, my mother and I have been in touch daily. We start every morning off together, emailing back and forth and talking about what our lives are going to be going on in that day. And it has been one of the grounding things that has kept me going. So, Mom, I love you so much. And everyone, let me introduce you to my mother, Judith. There is another mothering person in my life, and it's not a female. Here is our other mothering figure in my family. And this is Ed, of course. Lots of you know Ed. And this is a picture of Ed and Emmy, I think probably in September. A lot of you know that in September, we started caring for little Emmy, our granddaughter. And in December, on December 2nd at 7 o'clock in the morning, I fell down 15 stairs and was very badly injured. And that was when I discovered what a mothering person my husband is. Because not only did he take care of Emmy 11 hours a day, 5 days a week, but he also took care of me when I couldn't walk, when I couldn't stand up. This man became my mother in person. He gave me the mothering love that I needed. And I just want to honor Ed on Mother's Day. He's not a mother, but he's been my mother recently. So I love you, Mom. I love you, Ed. And I hope now others of you will feel happy and welcome to share thoughts about mothering figures in your life. So I have you on gallery view here if you want to hold up a hand or hold up a picture. And I see Lynn is the first person that I see. So Lynn, do you want to unmute yourself and tell us about your picture?
This is not my mom, who I couldn't find a picture of, but I love very much. My mom and dad are both in spirit world. After my dad moved on, I became much closer to him because we communicate. He hangs out with me. And this is one of my most cherished pictures of him because this was after one of my Ani Matera concerts. It's the only time he came and saw me perform. And this is his happy face. He was so proud of me. My sister told me how overwhelmed he was at such a beautiful performance. And I just treasure this picture because this is right after the show, me and my dad. And he was very mothering because he was kind of a gentle, graceful presence. And he mellowed a lot over the years. And he told me after he moved on to spirit world that was because of me, because I just kept showing up and I just kept being there. And love you, Dad.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing. And who else? I see hands waving. I see Chrissy. I'm going across on my screen, so I will get to you, everybody. But I see Chrissy now. Do you want to share with us?
Sure. This is a picture of my mom and stepdad.
Yeah, we're cleaning.
And
Here.
what? Anyway, that was during a period about 20 years ago.
I'll be taking recycling to the dump later.
Okay.
That's great. Well, Mom, Bill, and I have been through some rough stuff, and I saw them yesterday, and it was so lovely. My mom and Bill are at the age where they're realizing they need to ask for help with stuff, and they're asking for help now. And it was so great to see them yesterday. I mowed the lawn for my mom. She loves to do it, but she can't do the whole thing anymore. And my stepdad has really degraded wrists, and so it's hard for him to grab things. And man, he went out and did green up day along the front of the property. And he came back, he said, I think that's my last green up day. And he had these elastic braces on his knees and, socks over his pants and work boots. And we were out on the porch, and it gave me an opportunity to mother him because his hands are so painful, he couldn't get his stuff off. And I asked him, I said, Bill, can I help you get your stuff off? And he said, yeah, you can. I'm like, great. So I never in a million years, back when I was a teenager, would have thought that I would have been sitting on the porch with Bill's feet on my knees, pulling off his socks and his boots and pulling off the elastic knee support. And it felt really good. It felt really good to know that we're in a stage of life where I can give back to them. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So who else do we have? I see Sharon. We'll try to get to everybody. So let's just I see Sharon. We'll have Sharon and then Deb.
Okay. So I have this painting that was my mother's, that my mother did, Two Rivers, which happened to be up here on the altar, so I left it. And I picked these flowers for our altar, which were daffodils and a rhodie that my mother planted. So I get to reap the harvest, her beauty. Thank you, Mom. And I have a picture of her when she was a young woman. Yep, that's Dorothy Yoder as a young woman. I still carry in my heart, and I thank her every day for all the gifts she has given me. Thanks, Mom. Mwah.
Thank you, Sharon. And how about Deb now?
Okay. I don't have a photo of my mom, but I have this sweater. And the sweater is well over 20 years old. She's been gone for almost 22 years. So one day she came to visit me. She drove up from Massachusetts. I don't know, she had the sweater on, and I said, oh, I really like your sweater. She literally took the sweater off her back and gave it to me. And that was my mother. And she had such a big heart, and she was so kind. And whatever kindness I have, and you know, my feeling of having an open heart and joining with people. I'm sure I got it from her. So thank you, Jen, and I miss you.
Wonderful. So I think I saw Tony had her hand up. Yep, there you are, Tony.
I lost my mother when I was young, but since then I've had many mothers here at the campground, and this lovely lady and her husband Bill have been like she's been like a mother and a grandmother to my children. Here's another picture of them. We had a custom every Mother's Day to give flowers to all the mothers here in the campground, and that's what these flowers are for. We would dress up like clowns. Here's another picture of them as clowns. And we would dress up like clowns and go around and give these chrysanthemums to all the mothers in the campground. It was a wonderful tradition, and I love them so much. And I've talked about Bertha once before in great length of what a wonderful person she was. She is one of my top mothers, but I've had many of them ever since. Thank you.
Thank you. And I see Anne has her hand raised also. Anne, do you want to share with us?
Thanks. I want to honor someone who's has been a mothering figure in my son's life. And I don't know. Yeah, there you go. Even now, he's almost 30 years old. He just loves to see her and talk to her. And, you know, she took care of him for 3.5 years with me. And she's still, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Thank you so much, Tina Snell Findell.
Wonderful. How beautiful. I think Tina has brought a picture as well, didn't you, Tina?
Okay,
There they are.
there they are. So I'm in the middle,
Wait,
obviously.
hold it up a little
Okay.
higher.
Okay, so I'm in the middle. And this sister is the older sister. And she died in 2019, maybe. And then this is my other sister, Diane. She lives in Florida. And I tried to find a picture of my parents, and I don't know where it went, but it's somewhere at home. But Karen was very instrumental in my, I can't talk, in my whole life, actually. She was 15 years older than I am, and she took care of me a lot. But then when they started coming up to Vermont to go camping at the Tree Farm campground, we just had the best time. We cooked, we went shopping, we made things, all kinds of things, ornaments. She made quilts. She made my quilt. And so, wonderful, wonderful family. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see who else. Boy, this is wonderful. Everybody has mothering moments to share. I see Becky, and then I also see Jeff. So let's have Becky and then Jeff, and we'll keep going. We'll get to everyone.
Okay, can hear me now? Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I thought about my mother yesterday, so I thought I'd mention it. Don't think about her much. She died in 2000, 22 years ago, my goodness. But anyway, I was at the dump day sale up at the St. Mark's yesterday, and I found some books that made me think of my mother. One of them was the 5 little peppers and how they grew. And then the Bobbsey twins keeping house. Now, when we were growing up, me and my sister read these books. I don't know if my other sisters, brothers and sisters, they were younger than us, but hell, we were young kids. And we were young kids in the late 40s and 50s. So anybody else that was around then, you might remember these books. They were really sappy, but they were a lot of fun. That was something she wanted us to read, so we did.
Great. Thank you, Becky. And now we have, I think there was also Jeff. And we'll try to make sure we get to everybody here.
So I'm going to see if you can see. Okay. Yeah, that's a portrait of my mother, Helen Hersey Dick. And she was an incredible mother. And in 1975, the Chester UU Church nominated her for the Vermont Mother of the Year award, and she actually won it.
Wow.
And so I need not say much more than that, but the influence she's had on my life, my kids' lives, all about peace and equality and everything, and was a co-minister with my father. So I think of her very often and appreciate the gift she shared with all of us and the impact she's had on her children and her grandchildren.
Wonderful. Mother of the Year. Wow. So does anybody else have a hand up? Anyone else want to share? Let's see. I see Anne Marie and Roberta. So we'll have Anne Marie and then Roberta.
Oh, just want to show a picture here of that's my mom and my brother John, and they are both transitioned into another world at this point, but they are really always with me in my heart. My mom was one of the most creative people that I know, and there wasn't anything she wouldn't try to do. She'd make her mind up. She's very strong. She did everything from covering couches to putting floors in. She was a great cook, and she was just very creative. And she had the saying, she would always say, that it was very important to get your energy up for what you believe in, so go Rebels, she would say all the time. And my brother John, right here, he took me on the activist trail when I was 7 years old, and gave me pamphlets and said, just knock on the door and hand them the pamphlets. But he was quite the character and very loving. He lived with us while I was raising my girls, and he definitely took them out for walks and gave them lots of love and good nurturing for body and soul. Thank you.
Thanks. And now I think Roberta is next. Has a picture for us.
Let's see. This is my mom on, oopsie, where am I? Okay.
We can see it.
That's me in the middle, and my Aunt Grace on the one side by the car, and my mom on the other side. And I lost my mom in 2005, and she was always home cooking, waiting for us to come back. And such a good helper with my son when he was little. She would just hold him all afternoon if she could. And so just wanted to honor her today.
Thank you. Thank you for showing that. And I see someone standing next to Sharon, although I have you in a teeny tiny postage stamp, so I can't see who it is, but please share with us. There you are.
There you go. Hi, everybody. So the last couple of years, the word resilience has been used a lot, and it made me think so much of my mother, born in 1911, And so last year, I made a little book about her called My Resilient Mother, where I told some of the stories that she had told me. These are pictures of her and my dad. And then, this was, I don't want to get into all the different stories, but anyway, she just personified resilience. And it was a really good thing for me to sit down and just put together the stories, which are in a separate little book here in the front, both for myself reflecting and then to share with my children and with you today. So anyway, my resilient mother.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I don't know if there's anybody else who wanted to share. And if there is, we're going to have to go over into coffee hour because we're running out of time, believe it or not. But I want to mention one other mother person, and it's not my mother, actually. It's a mother of somebody who's here at this service who I never met, but I feel like I know her just a teeny, tiny little bit. And that's Hallie's mother, because we sing Hallie's mother's hymn words frequently. And every time I put those together, I think, I wish I would have known this woman. So Hallie, I just want to say something to honor your mother, because she was another lovely and creative and wonderful person I know, even though I never met her. So I just wanted to mention Hallie's mom. Okay, and if we have more mom stories, let's carry them over into coffee hour, because I have a feeling we all have lots of really fabulous stories. We have a reading from Lynn now. She has a couple of readings. So let's hear from Lynn. Can we spotlight Lynn, please?
This is called Boundless Goodwill. Let us cultivate boundless goodwill. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none in anger or ill will wish another harm. Even as a mother watches over her child, so with boundless mind should one cherish all living things, radiating friendliness over the world, above, below, and all around, without limit. That's from Metta Sutta. And here's a quote from Forster. I am sure that if the mothers of various nations would meet, there would be no more wars. E.M. Forster. Yes, believe it.
Thank you, Lynn. We have another anthem. Since this is a choir-led service, we've got lots of anthems. So we have another anthem, and I just want to let you know that this is our choir, but we have a special soloist who's singing with us. So see if you can pick her out, and her picture will be at the end with the choir. All right, Chrissy has a reading for us now.
I'd like to share that in our morning vocalizations with Julane, Emmy will often be in the background singing with us, and I think she is a budding opera singer. And she's right in tune. It's great. So for our closing words, we have a reading. When all the people of the world love, then the strong will not overpower the weak. The many will not oppress the few. The wealthy will not mock the poor. The honored will not disdain the humble. The cunning will not deceive the simple. Lao Tzu.
Our final hymn is We Would Be One. Please mute yourselves and sing along with us.
in singing our hymn of love, to pledge ourselves anew to that high cause of greater understanding of who we are and what in us is true. We would be one in living for each other, to show to all a new community. We would be one in building for tomorrow a nobler world than we have known today. We would be one in searching for that meaning which binds our hearts and points us on our way. As one we pledged ourselves to greatest service, with love and justice, strive to make us free.
I have closing words for us from our hymnal. Go in peace, live simply, gently, at home in yourselves. Act justly, speak justly. Remember the depth of your own compassion. Forget not your power in the days of your powerlessness. Do not desire to be wealthier than your peers, and stint not your hand of charity. Practice forbearance. Speak the truth or speak not. Take care of yourselves as bodies, for you are a good gift. Crave peace for all people in the world, beginning with yourselves. And go as you go with a dream that peace alive in your heart. And that's by Mark Bellatini. It's one of my favorite readings from this hymnal. We have one last chant. Please sing along with us. Deep peace. If I can get my computer to work. Ah, it's missing. Oh, there it is. Please sing along. Wow. Okay. There we go.
Deep peace of the running way to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the shining star to you. Deep peace of
Sharon, can we have the bell, please?
I will extinguish the chalice and then ring the bell.